Hello and welcome to the Farmer's Kitchen. We're the farmers and this is our kitchen.
That's right.
This is not a set.
That's right.
This is what we do and we're cooking dinner. Now I tell you what, when I think about it, most of the time we're cooking the big meal of the day, the
Right.
evening meal. But we went to a restaurant the other day and what did you have?
I had mushroom soup that was amazing.
And what did you ask me to do?
Please make this for me.
Which she does quite often. So I was trying to taste this soup at one of our favorite restaurants.
Yeah.
And I tasted this soup and I tasted certain things in it. But I also thought, when you do this for a while, you can start adding up in your brain. And my inner Raoul comes out.
You're good at
my
that,
old French
yes.
buddy. And I thought, okay, when he was making any kind of sauce or soup, he started with maybe red wine, then a bouillon, and then a meat stock, that sort of thing. And there's a magic thing there. So
Yeah.
I thought, we can do that. So I'm gonna make you some mushroom soup.
Thank you. I love it.
Did you like it?
I did love it.
Was it as good as the restaurant?
It's better than the restaurant, but don't tell them.
And she made something the other day that was just outstanding. Most of the time when we're in our kitchen, we look around and see what we have and we think, okay, let's try this. There's a lot of happy accidents that happen.
That's right.
Every now and then there's something like, oh, that's probably not,
Let's not make that
let's
again.
not make that again. But the ones that come out really good, we're gonna try to share with you. And what is that you made?
I actually made a strawberry bread. It's delicious because it's strawberry time, so it's a
It is.
wonderful time to do that.
This is not a super sweet bread,
No, it's not.
but with a little bit of butter on it, right out of the oven. I don't know if I've had anything better in a long time.
There is some sugar, but not a ton of sugar.
Just
That's
show
okay.
us how to do this, Miss
All
Ronnie.
right.
This is absolutely wonderful.
All right, well, I have a pint of strawberries here.
Okay,
So that's actually like 16 ounces of strawberries, and I'm gonna take my magic little chopper.
okay.
Because what I want to do is I want to chop these down and kind of puree them a little bit because I'm going to boil them for a little bit. That's going to be our base.
You know, we had a banana sitting around here. I was wanting to do like a banana bread, but it had gone beyond its expiration
Yes,
date,
it
you
had.
could say. It was looking pretty poor, and you had strawberries. And by golly, here's what we came up with.
This chopper's wonderful. But I'm just going to add them slowly because they're too big, and then I'm going to chop them all the way down. And I've already washed these.
Now, something else that happens if you're not a member of a CSA in this great United States of ours, check around you. I bet you somebody's got a way that you can get fresh vegetables if you don't grow them yourself. We like to grow some
yeah.
stuff, but a lot of stuff we get from our CSA, Community Supported Agriculture.
You could chop these by hand or use a blender.
Sure.
But you know I love my little chopper.
You can use a potato masher.
Yes, you could. All right. Now I'm going to take these, and I'm going to get them all in there. And if you will go ahead and we'll get those going. And I just want to bring these to a boil on like a medium heat. Once they boil, we'll give it 1 minute.
Really? No sugar? No,
No, nothing of this. And then we're going to take them off and we're going to chill them
Interesting.
while we make the rest of our bread.
It's boiling.
And that's it. We've kind of boiled them, kind of got them to come together a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and just put it in a different container.
Yeah.
And we're going to stick this in the fridge while we get the rest of that bread ready.
All right, what's next?
See, it's almost 2 cups still.
Gotcha.
Let's put it in this pan because we're going to stick it in the fridge while we make the rest of this.
Just chill it for a
We're
little
going
bit?
to chill it while we make the rest of our bread. Our next thing is we have some flour. I have 1 3/4 cup of flour here.
Gotcha.
And I've already pre-mixed my 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, and 3/4 teaspoons of salt. Spice, I got pumpkin pie spice, or you could use cinnamon. So I like the pumpkin pie.
Pumpkin pie
Yeah,
spice.
I'm just gonna do 1/2 teaspoon of that.
Say pie.
Pie.
No,
Pumpkin,
say it like
pumpkin
you
pie.
Say what?
Pumpkin pie.
Pie?
Pumpkin pie.
Pie and
Yes.
pie.
That's not very nice. But that's it. That's our powder mixture. So now, if you'll be my helper with the mixer,
All right,
I'm gonna put 2 eggs in.
2 eggs.
Once I get the 2 eggs in, we'll get this going.
I gotta watch it. I put it on too high a speed and I end up
It would fly all over the room. Don't do it.
wearing it.
Cup of sugar. I mean, there's still a lot of sugar, but
Oh.
we're gonna go with the whole cup of sugar. Now, you know my lard. How I
Gotta
put, I
lard.
have to have lard in everything. So I'm gonna take 1/3 cup of our lard.
Do a little research on pasture-raised pig leaf lard. The science has changed. I would much rather use this than a vegetable oil-based
yeah.
type thing.
You
They're
smell
finding
it?
out. They're finding out that again, pasture-raised leaf lard from a pasture-raised pig is absolutely pretty good stuff. Our grandparents knew more than we thought.
That's right.
And this is our lard
Exactly.
that we got from our friend who raises his pigs, pasture-raised pigs, all natural. He gives us some of the fat, or we buy that for them.
Right.
We bring them to the crock pots, we reduce it ourselves, and it's just absolutely wonderful.
And I've gone through a couple jars already because
Yes,
I love
you
this so
have.
much. All right,
So this is mixing up.
that's mixing up. All right, now what we're gonna do, I actually have a half a cup of heavy whipping cream here.
All right, you may pour it in.
We're gonna do back and forth though, watch.
Oh, gotcha.
So now I got my powder mixture.
jumped the gun.
Yeah, so you be in charge of the powder, you just put a little bit
So
in.
pour
We're
this
gonna
in?
go back and forth, just a little bit, put about a third of that in, then I'll put a little of mine in. A little of yours, and I'll do a little of mine. We're gonna go back and forth. Do we get it all in
Here's
there?
what I'm going to be wearing this.
All right, go ahead and turn that off for a minute.
All right.
I'm gonna grab my strawberries.
Ooh, it already smells good.
All right, if you wanna turn it back on,
Okay.
I'm gonna slowly add back my strawberries.
And this turned out a lovely dark color.
Yes, it did. Go ahead and give that a good mix if you want.
And how much do you mix
How's it
it?
look? That's good if you want to stop
Good
that.
right there?
Now the last ingredient, pecans.
Pecans.
I got like a little
You
over
chop them?
Yes, half a cup. And we're gonna chop those up. You go ahead and mix those, and that'll be it.
No wonder this was so good. I didn't want you to make that.
What do you
Put it in
think?
a loaf pan and go? What temperature?
I think that's good. We're gonna put 350. I already have the oven going for 1 hour.
1 hour.
Yep.
350.
And I think we're good. Thank you so much.
Oh, it smells good.
I have my little pan already ready to go here. I greased it.
Man, it does smell good.
I think it smells good. That's it.
That's all?
If you want to open the oven for me,
Ooh,
let
that
this
looks-
go for 1 hour.
That looks gorgeous. I'll tell you what, let's get this cleaned up, and then I'm going to start the soup.
Yay.
You know what? I just thought of something. Normally, when you watch this show, it's a very meat and potatoes type of show, and it's kind of a, well, we're kind of in the South.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff that's kind of, some people consider heavy. Do you realize this is a soup and salad show and bread?
It's not terrible, right?
That's not terrible.
It's pretty healthy.
That's good.
That's healthy.
All right, let's get this cleaned up in mushroom soup. Now, some people have told us here recently that they didn't like onions. And so I told them, somebody I know personally, I said, you've probably had red onions or something very strong,
Right.
and you reacted to those if they were raw, so on and so forth. You get a yellow sweet onion or a Vidalia onion, the sugar in these things is outstanding.
It is.
The flavor profile is so different from anything you could imagine with the red onion. So for those out there who think they don't like onions or think they don't like mushrooms, I think this would be the entry-level dish for you to rediscover
I think you're right.
your taste buds.
Good idea.
Nicki loves, dare I say, really loves mushroom soup.
I do. I like mushroom anything, but mushroom soup's one of
That's
my
true.
favorites.
My old buddy Raul, he always said, trust your senses, trust your olfactories. So we came home and I started being the mad scientist.
You did.
So let's start this recipe. You know what, I'm gonna let you do that for me if you will. I'm gonna go ahead and put a little butter in here. So many recipes you have seen us begin with butter and onions. And again, those sweet yellow onions, they add something that's almost indescribable. So that's where we're beginning. I'm gonna take some baby portobello mushrooms. I'm just gonna cut those up into manageable sized pieces. And I'm gonna saute those with the onions. Nick, if you don't mind, would you pop those onions on over here and let them
I will.
let them start to get going?
Do you want all of this or just a little bit? What do you think?
Let's use most of it.
All right.
Now that's half of a very large sweet onion. I was never a big mushroom fan until later in life. And now that I've rediscovered them, I could eat them. I could live on them.
Me too.
We took a walk around the farm today, hoping to find some different mushrooms. And we looked, and that's all we came up with today.
Right at the end.
Right at the end. And these are a type of coral fungus. And you can see why. They really look like a
They do.
piece of coral out of the ocean. We've found a chicken of the wood. We have found a puffball. And Rick, down the road, we've found morels on his place. And on Kelly's place, we found a pheasantback mushroom. All of which we have consumed on the show. So we're going to get our onions going pretty good here. You know what? Let's measure the mushrooms. See how much we have here. There's more there than I thought. How many cups is that measuring? That's 4 cups. This is about 4.5 cups. So one more thing that I'm going to do here real quick like is I'm going to cut me some fennel out of this bulb. Now tell me what this smells like to you, if you will.
Why can't I say what is that?
A little anise
Yeah,
flavor?
anise. Yeah, that's what it is. It's like licorice.
And it really adds
That's good.
a subtle, interesting flavor to this. And I'm just going to go ahead and cut this up. I'm going to throw this in with the onions. It's not a real obvious flavor that you pick out, but it really does. It's one of these things here, you know, a lot of times you don't want to add too many flavors, but these flavors all together, I just got to say,
It's good.
are not too shabby.
It does smell like, it's like licorice.
Mm-hmm. For those who don't like licorice, you would not mind
No,
this.
not at all.
You would not mind this at all. So I'm going to go ahead and drop this in. Those are browning up. I'm going to turn it down just a little bit. I'm going to pop these in. Pop some fennel in here. You know, there are some real mushroom experts out there. I know most of the basic groups, but sometimes I will send some of my stuff. And this is a private Facebook page, but I think they'd probably let you on if you asked. It's called Official Kentucky Mushrooms.
Oh, really?
And I talked to some guys over there, and I thought this was one thing, and they kind of steered me in the right direction. But one thing about mushrooms, do not assume. We can take that a step further, but we won't.
Okay.
Do not assume on your mushrooms. Know for sure. It's up to you. It's not up to me. I can't look at your mushrooms. If you put them in your body, then you're responsible for what happens. And we know what these are.
I got them at the store.
Baby bells. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep turning these around until they get a nice little brown. And I want all these flavors to absorb together. I'm going to put a little bit of salt in here. And I usually use kosher salt. I just like the consistency and flavor of it. A little bit of pepper. And I'm going to go ahead at this point, I'm going to put just a little bit of dried thyme in here, just to get that flavor going. The one thing I noticed when we were eating out the other day, when you said, I really like this soup, the one thing that jumps out at you is thyme. And with that earthy flavor, with the sweet onions, something that occurred to me was, I would really like to put some white pepper.
You like white pepper?
That white pepper and thyme together has
yeah.
a very interesting flavor. And as you go along here, if you need a little more butter in here, pop it in. I don't want to go too heavy on the salt or too heavy on the pepper, but pepper really adds. We like pepper in our soup. You know, that reminds me. We haven't seen him for a while, but Glenn, the pepper bandit, you know, he was in pepper prison
Really?
for a long time. Well, he went to the post office. He was trying to send that pure Peruvian pepper,
Really?
which is illegal
Oh, yeah.
to ship.
Yeah.
Remember that camel he had a
I do
while
remember
back?
his camel.
He's still got the camel. He rode over here. He came through around the field. So
You saw him?
Yeah. No. I got him on camera.
Okay.
Look, I'll show you some footage.
Okay.
Here's him coming around the camera, coming around the field, trying to get around the dogs. Snuck through the back door
Really?
when we were up looking for mushrooms and stole our cherry pepper.
You are kidding me.
So I hated to do it, but I called the pepper police.
Did you?
Last time I heard, he was in Paducah peddling pepper.
Really?
On his way to Peoria.
Wow.
Don't know, but
Wow.
I'm just saying.
That's a crazy
You know
story.
how he is. He's out of control. And you know what? I hate to say this, but sometimes he has an accomplice. And the thing is, we've never seen her face, but they have recorded messages. Her name's Patricia, the pepper pusher. That's what they call her.
Really?
Patricia, the pepper pusher.
He has an accomplice then. I didn't
Has an
realize
accomplice,
that. Wow.
yeah. You remember when we first got to know them, we were on the Alaskan cruise, on the Country Kitchen Alaska cruise. And we thought he was so nice, and
He
she was
seems
so
sweet,
nice.
Yeah.
And he is. He's just got a pepper problem.
Yes, he does.
And at this point, I'm going to take a little bit of white wine, and I'm just going to deglaze. And I'm going to just reduce that down because that flavor is really going to come in nice there. And that was probably a tablespoon and a half, maybe 2 tablespoons. And I'm going to let that reduce for just a minute.
That smells good.
That does smell good. All right, we got a really good smell going here. So at this point, I'm going to turn these off. We'll set these, I'll tell you what, we'll just put them back in the measuring cup.
Okay.
Let them cool for just a little bit before we put them into our processor. So let's get that going. So we're going to take equal parts butter, and that's, what is that? A little more than a fourth of a stick of
Almost
butter.
a third of a stick, I think.
And let's try to put equal parts flour. We're going to make kind of a roux and a thickener for our soup. And I'm gonna put in this, because it's a soup, you'll see me doing this a lot, I'm gonna take like half a cube of chicken bouillon and put in the stock as well. I'm not gonna put a whole lot of salt, but I am gonna put some more thyme. Thyme really adds a lot to this. And we're gonna come back with our flour. And we're just gonna thicken that up. And I'll tell you what, if you'll
What would you like?
go ahead and pour that chicken stock in here. This is gonna be a cup. And a cup of heavy cream, or half and half, whichever you prefer. To your desired thickness. Now, if you wanted to put a little more flour in there, you could do that. So we're gonna let that thicken up just a little bit. As we do that, I'm gonna go ahead and put my bouillon cube in there, half of one. I'm gonna put some more pepper.
Because we like pepper.
Now, watch your white pepper, just a couple dashes. It really, really adds something. That in combination with the thyme, I think makes this. Now I'm gonna take this, it's like, oh, the smell. You smell that?
Yeah,
Let me get all that in
all the
there.
good stuff.
Then I'm gonna puree that. Now you could use a immersion blender, but I don't like wearing it. What do you think?
It looks
Is
yum.
that to your liking?
I think so.
Okay, at this point we're gonna add our mushrooms. Man, oh man. Now there was one point in time when I would not consider eating this. And then Miss Nicki came along and said,
Yum.
let's try these mushrooms. Now I can't live without them. All right, so let's mix this in, slowly but surely. Would you mind running out while I'm stirring this to get me some fresh thyme?
I will. I got a little garden
Just a
out
couple
there.
sprigs.
All right, a couple
and it'll be
sprigs. I will do
perfect.
it.
I would so appreciate it. Then there's one more thing, and I'm telling you, when all these flavors combine, it kind of turns magic. So we recently bought some smoked white cheddar cheese, and it's ended up in a lot of things, but I don't know if it ended up any better in anything than this right here. And just go ahead and grate as much as that as you want. We're almost ready. I tell you what, let's do a little more cheese right on top
Okay.
for the final presentation. A little cracked pepper, a couple little mushrooms, a sprig of thyme, and look what we have.
Beautiful.
Look what we have.
The bread needs to come out. Can we do that?
That was good timing. That was
Perfect
really good
timing. That's
yeah.
right. And it is perfect.
Yum. Wow, that looks really good. What would Sammy say?
Somebody say yum papa.
I think he'd say yummy grandma.
Would he? It's always yum papa. What do you mean?
All right, now I want you to try that soup.
Okay.
I want to make sure it's up to your standard. 'Cause I see gooey
Some
cheese on there
cheese.
too. Does it work?
I could eat all that. What are you gonna eat?
You know what? I need a spoon.
You did good.
Now that might seem like a lot of flavors clashing around.
Oh, no, that's
but
good.
let me tell you what, they combined into something
Amazing.
I think it's kind of special.
It's very good.
Oh,
Yes.
I'm happy.
Delish.
I'll tell you what we're going to do, because we have a break, and we're doing things out of order here. Normally we'd have our salad done, but I wanted to do this while all that was happening. Let's take a break and eat our soup,
Okay.
so we have the energy to make our salad, which we normally made first, but that's another story.
Okay.
Be back in a minute. So not too long ago, went to another restaurant, and we were eating with our friend Lisa. And Lisa's been on the show. She tried some fish. She doesn't like fish, but she liked our fish.
She did.
We had a salad with them, and she liked it a lot. And she likes pickled beets, which we have pickled beets right there. She was having some friends over, and she said, "Tim, how would you make that salad?" She put me on the spot. So I thought, okay. So I started trying to analyze it in my mind. So I thought, I think that was a fig, some type of a fig glaze or something like that. And I knew there was probably olive oil in it. So there's your sweet, and there's your oil. Now you need a little bit of tang, so I thought maybe a little red wine vinegar. And this was a really sweet salad. It was really good. And I thought maybe just a little bit of honey. And then there was some salt in there, so you got to get all the savory stuff going on. So I thought, okay, I'm going to put just a little bit of Greek seasoning in there, and that would take care of the salt and the pepper and
Right.
some other things. There was some figs in there,
Love figs.
but the best part of it was the sliced beets. It really made it. Now, if you don't like that, you don't have to put those in there. You can put apples, and you can put goat cheese. You can put all kinds of things in it. And then there was some pecan sprinkled over the top. So I was on the phone talking to Lisa,
Right.
and you were in the background
Writing it
writing
down.
things
Writing
down.
it down.
Thank goodness, because we mixed it up after that, and it was really good, and it was really close. Let's start with 4 tablespoons of fig glaze. You can buy this about any store. 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 3 tablespoons of red wine vinegar, and let's put some honey in there to thicken that up and give it some sweetener. Let's go 2 tablespoons of that. And then we'll come back with just a dash of Greek seasoning to set that off. And we'll go ahead and chop some figs up. We can put those in there. We're going to chop those up real fine. These are 2 different types of figs that we're using. You can use whatever you can find, but figs make a wonderful little addition to this salad. They have a nice sweet taste, but yet the texture with the seeds is just wonderful. Let's just put a little bit more on there. Now I'll tell you what, if you wanted to take and saute some shallots
Oh, that'd
in
be
bacon
good.
grease, put in there. But go ahead, Miss Farm, why don't you try
Alright.
that and see what you think.
I'm gonna get a hold of a beet here.
Now this is a little bit sweeter presentation, but oh, it really matches that with the nuts and the beets. You like it? Can you dig it? And the figs.
That dressing is so good.
It's almost like dessert, isn't it?
It is. That's great with spinach too. I like that. Wow. That's good salad.
That'll work.
That will. With some soup.
Soup, we've already tried that. I'm coming back to that.
You try the
With
bread?
the bread, do you mind?
Go ahead. I didn't even butter it. It's so good. Let me break a little piece up. That is good in there. Wow. That's our dessert.
You bite into that, and your brain's trying to turn it into banana bread. It thinks, wait a minute. There's beautiful, wonderful strawberries in here.
That's good.
Look at the color of that. That's fantastic.
Glad you like it.
I like it better than banana bread.
Or zucchini bread. It's kind of got both. Taste of both. It's really good.
Fantastic. Ms. Farmer, hard to believe, but our half hour is about up.
That's right.
That being said, a lot of times I don't write recipes down, but you and Kelly make me write stuff down. Once we write it down, where do you find it?
I go to timfarmerscountrykitchen.com.
And we have a Facebook page with a lot of friends on there. We talk about stuff, we share recipes, we have fun, but it's so difficult. How do you get on that Facebook page?
You hit like.
You do not.
Yes, you do.
That's all there is to it. Our half hour is up, but there's one thing I really need to say.
What is that?
It's all about
Good times?
good friends.
Good eats.
Let's eat.
I'm going to eat this soup.
You know what? I want some of that too. And we'll see you next week, right here from the Farmer's Kitchen.
Yay.
To order a cookbook, email timfarmerck@gmail.com.